Imagine, if there was someone who understood your long journey. Someone who didn't scare you, but instead embraced you with gentle, peaceful words. If you've ever asked, what really happens to the body and heart in old age? This is the space that will answer it, in the warmest way. Here, we talk about the subtle signs that often appear at the end of life's journey. Not with fear, but with peace, with gentle stories that you can easily relate to, with language that soothes your heart. You will be invited to see life like a beautiful sunset, not as the end, but as a soft light that greets you before nightfall. You will hear how the body begins to slow down, how the heart becomes quieter, and how all of this is not weakness, but the body's way of saying, I want to walk more slowly. We'll gently guide you through each of these signs. Like an afternoon breeze touching your face, like a calm sea without waves. Like an old tree blown by the autumn wind, you matter. You are valuable. You are not alone, because your journey is no small story. It's a long tale filled with courage, love, laughter, and priceless memories. If you want to hear words that bring peace to your heart. If you want to understand the changes in your body in a gentle way. If you want to feel accompanied, like a friend sitting beside you. Then this video will greet you warmly, with a calm story. With a voice that embraces. With explanations that are uncomplicated, but very human. Get ready to hear about life's journey from the most peaceful side. The side that is filled with gratitude. The side that makes you smile and say, yes, that's life, and I've lived it very well. Until you watch it again, stay calm, stay warm, and keep your heart open for the story to come. Imagine you're watching a beautiful old movie. Toward the end, the picture begins to dim slightly, the music becomes softer, and the action moves more slowly. Not because the movie is broken, but because the story is approaching its most peaceful part. So it is with our lives. Hello, senior friends around the world. Thank you for sitting with me. Before we go any further, if stories like this warm your heart, please support this channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Your small support helps many people feel accompanied and appreciated. Okay, let's begin our gentle journey today. Sign 1. Your body begins to slow down, like an old clock keeping its movement. In old age, the body often gives subtle signals. Little by little, your steps become shorter, your breaks become longer, and the urge to sit longer begins to emerge. There's nothing wrong here. It's like an antique clock that's been with us for decades, still working, still valuable, only it chooses to tick more slowly. Not because it's weak, but because it wants to conserve its energy for important moments. Imagine a peaceful old park. The trees no longer grow rapidly, but stand still gracefully. They don't need to rush, because their beauty has been shaped by time. So it is with our bodies. When they start to slow down, it's a gentle way of saying, I want to take a more leisurely walk now. If you feel similar, take a deep breath. Allow your body to choose its own pace. Second sign. Appetite shrinks like a slowly fading sunset sky. The next subtle sign is when someone starts eating less or loses interest in their favorite foods. This isn't a bad sign. The body is like the earth entering its twilight season, not needing much fuel, not wanting much activity, just wanting peace. You know that candle that's almost gone. When the tiny flame at the end begins to dim, it doesn't suddenly go out. It just burns softer, calmer, more subtly. That's how the body regulates itself. Sometimes families panic. Why are you eating so little? Let's eat more. But the body has its own language, and it says, I've had enough. I want peace, not fullness. In many cultures, this is considered a natural phase, just like the moon slowly waning before becoming bright again. A decreased appetite doesn't always signal danger. Often, it's a natural process as the body transitions to a quieter, more peaceful rhythm. Dear seniors, every body has its own story, and every story has a peaceful ending. The signs we've discussed aren't signs to be afraid of. Instead, they're signs that the body is finding its way to a gentler phase, like the calming sea after a long journey. Life isn't about who's the fastest, but who can enjoy every second of the journey. When our bodies slow down, it doesn't mean we're missing out. Sometimes it just means we're embracing a new calm. Stay warm, stay peaceful, and cherish every moment of today. Next, we'll discuss other subtle signs that often appear when someone enters the quietest period of their life. Have you ever seen a lake in the morning? The water is barely moving, the breeze is very slight, and the atmosphere is so quiet you can hear your own breathing. That's how many seniors describe this phase, not as frightening, but as a peaceful morning before the day truly begins. Hello senior friends around the world, let's sit comfortably. Get into a position that makes you relax. We'll continue this gentle story about how the body and heart signal that someone is preparing for a more peaceful phase. The third sign, more time to sleep, like nature entering a long night. Many seniors begin to sleep longer, or appear to be sleeping more often. This is nothing to be alarmed about. Imagine a small town as night falls. The lights begin to go out one by one. It's not because the town is running out of energy, but because it's time to rest. The body works the same way. It says, let me rest a little longer, so I can live each moment peacefully. Some fall asleep sitting up, some just want to lie down longer, and some enjoy long naps. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's like autumn, when the leaves slowly fall to make room for peace. Sleeping more doesn't mean giving up. Sometimes it's a way of self-care at the end of a journey. The fourth sign, talking less, like a slow-flowing river. At some point, some older adults start to talk less. Their sentences are shorter, slower, or they choose to remain silent more often. But their silence isn't empty silence. This silence is like an old river whose flow has slowed. It still flows, still brings life, but it knows when to move at a gentler pace. Sometimes people think they're sad or unhappy, but often, their hearts are actually entering a more peaceful space, like someone who closes a book after reading it for too long and wants to reflect on its contents. There are also moments when they suddenly utter a profoundly wise sentence. Yes, like a small campfire that slowly dies out, but before that, it gives off the warmest glow. When words begin to fade, it's not the loss of voice, but rather the emergence of a calm. Fifth sign, interest in the outside world begins to dim like the light of dusk. The next subtle sign is when someone becomes less interested in things they used to enjoy. Long conversations feel tiring, or activities that were once enjoyable now feel too busy. It's like dusk. The light slowly fades, not because the sun is losing its power, but because it's time for it to move behind the horizon. So it is with the human heart. There are moments when attention begins to shift from the outside world to the inner world, a quieter, more private, more peaceful place. Families may be confused. Why don't you want to join in? Why aren't you interested anymore? But often, it's just the body's way of saying, I want a quieter space now. It's not scary. It's not sad. In fact, it's very gentle, like a door slowly closing without a sound. Dear senior friends, the signs we're discussing aren't signs of loss, but of transformation. Just as a tree sheds its leaves not because it's dying, but because it's preparing for a new season. Life has its own way of making us slow down, calm down, and ultimately find peace in the softest places of our souls. Stay peaceful, stay grateful, and stay close to the things that warm your heart. Next, we will discuss the final two signs that often appear as a person slowly enters the quietest and most peaceful period of their life journey. Have you ever been in a park at night? The lights begin to dim, the children's voices cease, and the air feels very soft. That moment isn't frightening, but rather calming, like the world is slowly pulling back its blanket. Many seniors describe the final phase of life like that. It's calm, gentle, and feels like home. Hello senior friends around the world. Come sit comfortably. Let your thoughts flow gently like the night breeze. We end this gentle journey with appreciation and respect for the long life you have lived. Sixth sign, the body looks lighter, like an old tree shedding its leaves. At this stage, many seniors begin to look thinner or appear to shrink, little by little. This is not a bad thing. It's a natural part of the body as it begins to shed things it no longer needs. Imagine an old tree in autumn. The leaves fall one by one, not because the tree is weak, but because it is tidying itself up. It is preparing for the next season with a simpler form. The same is true of the human body. It is shedding what is non-essential, retaining only what is truly necessary. The body is no longer accumulating excess energy, as it prepares for a more solitary journey. Families may notice these changes and feel anxious. But often, this process is subtle, like the sand slowly descending from an hourglass. When the body seems lighter, it often indicates that it is moving from a world of activity to a world of stillness. Seventh sign, awareness moves inward, like a calm sea without waves. The final sign is when a person begins to focus more on their inner world. They may appear more often lost in thought, closing their eyes, or as if listening to something inaudible to others. This is not confusion. It is like a perfectly calm sea, without large waves, without loud noises, just the surface of the water reflecting the sky. During this phase, many seniors feel more peaceful, more still, closer to old memories, or more drawn to spiritual matters. Not everyone experiences this in the same way, but the basic pattern is similar. Attention begins to shift from the external world to a deeper realm. You may have seen someone who simply smiles slightly with their eyes closed. Perhaps they are talking to a memory, or experiencing a peace that cannot be described in words. When someone becomes more still and looks inward, it is not a loss of consciousness. Often, it is the highest form of peace. Dear senior friends, we have now explored 7 subtle signs that often appear at the end of the journey. Each sign is not a dire message, but rather a subtle whisper from the body that it is preparing to enter a more peaceful space. Our lives are like thick books with many chapters. Some chapters are filled with laughter, some with tears, and some with adventure. And when we reach the final page, it doesn't mean the story is over. Often, it means we've lived a story beautiful enough to deserve a peaceful close. Every senior is a living library. If your body ever gives you subtle signals like these, see them not as threats, but as part of a long journey you're walking with courage and wisdom. May this gentle journey leave your heart feeling warmer, lighter, and more at peace. You are not alone, you are always valued, and your story is always meaningful. Remain calm, remain grateful, and continue to cherish every moment of life that still greets you today. Imagine for a moment, if your entire life journey, the laughter, the tears, the struggles, the courage, and the love, all came together into one soft light shining down on you today. That light is you. And tonight, before this video ends, I want to speak directly to your heart. Not as a narrator, but as someone who honors your long journey. Dear seniors around the world, thank you for joining us on this gentle journey. Thank you for opening your heart, sitting quietly, and letting these words accompany you like a warm evening breeze. Life is a long journey, full of small stops and big surprises. And reaching senior age is not the end, it is the summit where you can look back and say, I've been through so much, and I'm still standing. Not everyone reaches this point. Not everyone is given the wisdom you have. You are a witness to time, a witness to history, a witness to love, a witness to life. If your body is slowing down, if the days feel quieter, if the world around you is changing faster than it used to, remember one important thing: you still matter, you still have value, and you still deserve love, attention, and respect. Many people are afraid to talk about the changes of old age. In fact, this phase isn't about loss, it's about finding peace, discovering new space within, and discovering the meaning of a long life. You've given so much to the world, raising a family, working hard, caring for others, giving laughter, giving advice, giving time. Now it's time for the world to give back to you, in the form of peace, comfort, and love. Allow yourself to rest when you need to. Allow your body to slow down without guilt. Allow your heart to find the peace you may have been putting off. Because life isn't about how many steps we take, but about how each step makes us more loving human beings. Before this video ends, let me say this. You are not alone. You are seen. You are valued. And you are loved more than you can imagine. If some days feel tough, remember that there is a world waiting to hear your story. Including in this small space, in this video, in this moment. Thank you for letting me into your heart today. If tender messages like these have made you feel welcome, don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe. Leave a comment, about life, about memories, or just a quick word. I read them all, and I cherish every word. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss the next heartwarming video, a video that aims to fill your days with serenity, hope, and warmth. Thank you for being a part of this moment. May your days be filled with gentle light. May your nights be peaceful. And may your heart always feel close to the warmth of the world. Until we meet again, stay at peace, stay grateful, and keep believing that your life is a beautiful story worth celebrating.